Welcome, dill holes, to TP For Your Earholes. My name is Patrick Schmidt. I'm one of the two co-hosts of this show. Who do I have with me today?
The other one is me, Charlene Schmidt.
Yeah, and today we're getting into the first half of Season 3 of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head, the newest reboot. And we're going to actually break this up into 2 episodes. We started putting together our thoughts, and we realized we have way more to say than we could cover in 1 episode.
It would be too much.
Oh yeah, way too much. So this episode is going to be about the first, 12 episodes?
12, because there's 24.
And then the second episode, which will drop next Thursday, will cover the back half. So I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, spoilers.
Yes, very much so. And in fact, that is entirely what this episode will be. So if you've not watched Season 3 yet, hey, do that thing, then come back here.
Yes. And I think it is important to note here, too, that we have had our, differences or issues with how we go about getting Season 3 in the past. We've talked about that on this series quite a bit, but I also think that it's worth it. However you can find it, it's worth it, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is the really good stuff that we really, really like, and why it is definitely worth your time, your effort, your energy to seek out Season 3.
Yeah, which probably gives away maybe the first of our observations of this first half of the season, which is, did you like it? I liked it.
Yeah, it's pretty unanimous. It's not a secret at this point. We really do like it. But before we get into all the reasons why we like it, Shar, can you tell our listeners how they might be able to follow us and stick with us if they dig this kind of content?
Yeah, please do all these things. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Facebook at TP For Your Earholes. You can reach out, keep up with our latest updates, stay on top of whatever is happening in TP For Your Earholes land. We're also on YouTube. We love interacting with you there. You can leave comments. You can listen to the podcast there. Please like and subscribe if that's how you're listening to us. And, of course, you can go on our website, tpforyourearholes.com, and we have a contact form you can fill out if you want to reach us personally.
Yeah.
And hey, while you're doing things on the internet, could we ask one more favor? And that is to let any of your friends or the people in your life, even the people you don't like, know who like Beavis and Butt-head about this show. Tell someone. And also, if you really, really, really love us and you can take 5 minutes to write us a review on the podcast platform of your choice, hey, we would really appreciate that because the algorithm does its thing and it does the juju and it really helps us out. We are still a young and growing podcast and we are finding our audience, but we could really use your help still. So if you've done that already, thank you. And if you haven't, would you please?
That about sums it up. I got no notes. 10 out of 10.
Then how about we jump into our review of the first half of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head Season 3.
Let's do it. I think it's a good place to start by noting that when we say episode, we mean 10-minute self-contained thing. We don't mean the 2 of them together.
Right.
Because there are 6, what people would call episodes, 6 30-minute episodes. But when we're talking episodes, we're talking about the self-contained, just like we have been for talking about episodes of the original run. That's what we're going to get into here is the first 12 episodes, which is actually the first 6 episodes. And I hope that's the last time I say the word episode in this podcast.
That was a little excessive.
I apologize. So, Shar, why don't you tell us what was your favorite of the 12?
First and foremost, I have to say, you organized our notes for us for this show today. And we're just going to dive right into what is normally held for last as, hey, so what was your favorite? No, let's do it right here and take away that tension or anticipation, whatever you want to call it. I love it. I love it so much. Let's do this.
Cool.
I think mine has got to be nuts.
Okay.
After rewatching the first half of Season 3, there were other candidates. I love Heart Attack. I really like Self-Defense. I liked it second time around more than the first time around. It's a very damn solid story overall. It is just dumbassery its finest with that classic Beavis and Butt-head plot of wanting to score. Good stuff, but nuts. And maybe it's just the wholesomeness of Beavis at play here, plus the visuals of his allergic reaction, which are so freaking well done.
Yes.
I think it's got to go to that episode. What about you?
You stole mine.
I'm sorry. It really is mine.
And it is mine too. Nuts is my favorite episode of the first half because of all the things you talked about. But I think there's also an emotional range that you get in this episode that I don't think you get from a lot of other episodes. And I think if you wanted to illustrate for people the change between 90s Beavis and Butt-head and now Beavis and Butt-head, one of the episodes you could show them is Nuts. It's got way more going on than what we would have seen 30 years ago. And that's cool. That's a sign of an evolving show. And I think there's also, as a former 15-year-old boy, if I were told I could never have nuts again, I would be just as sad.
And you're not talking about cashews, are you?
I will leave that up to you to decide.
And our audience.
But yeah, that was, I think, a really, really solid episode. Probably my favorite of the first half of the season. And definitely, I think, one of my top episodes of all time.
I have to agree. It's that good. I will watch it over and over and over again and not get tired of it. And that's the mark of a good episode, in my opinion.
Truth.
Well, how about a least favorite episode now? We got to go for the highs, then we got to go for the lows.
So I know you mentioned Heart Attack as your favorite or one of your favorites. I thought it was hilarious and I definitely appreciate it, but there is something in me, and this goes back to the TP for Your Earholes where we talked about some of the episodes that we didn't like, and I mentioned things like Choke and The Pipe of Doom. Anytime you can see that physical, visceral pain that these animated characters are in, I struggle with that. And you could really see it in Butthead in this episode. And I didn't like the resolution. The resolution is just what? He falls in the street.
He's left to die.
There could have been a better resolution of that episode. Now, I'm not saying I am a writer, a comedy writer. I'm not saying I could have done a better job myself. But I don't know. I felt like it just kind of ended, and there was opportunity for it to end in a funnier way, and instead it ended in this very, as I mentioned, very personally hard to watch way.
It leaves on a dark note because he's just left there to die. Will the EMTs eventually find him? We don't know. We have to presume because they do come back for more episodes. So,
of course,
yeah, the canon being super, super consistent in all of Beavis and Butt-head.
Yeah, obviously, right?
Yeah.
How about you? Anything that was just didn't hit for you?
There's not one particular episode that really stands out as a weak link. I feel like everything is done pretty well, and I can watch it and see its purpose, understand what they're doing, have a good time. So the closest thing I think I have to it is Van Driesen content of all things, which perturbs my brain because in the classic episodes, like Bus Trip is one of my favorite episodes. But there is the episode where Van Driesen gets injured in the forest and Beavis and Butt-head, quote unquote, try to rescue him.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, him getting injured at the start of the episode and then just continuing to get his poor body beaten down, it didn't continue to be super funny. It's like it peaked and then it went downhill. So maybe that, but really my very least favorite thing of the first half was not an episode. It was the little segment Swipe Right with David Van Driesen.
Fair. Okay.
It sucked, but at least it was short.
Yeah, it was definitely a different kind of humor than we're used to seeing on this series.
And again, I get it, but it just didn't make me laugh, like so many other things that happened in the season.
Fair. How about some of your favorite, we've talked about favorite episodes, things that held together as a group. How about things that just stood out as particular lines or particular things that came out of either their mouths or somebody else's mouths that I mean, just automatically made you crack up.
How about I kick us off with a David Van Driesen line that actually is a good end to an episode.
Okay.
And that is when he says, and that's the story of how we met, when he adopts his new kitty in the episode AI. That's a great clincher to that episode. I was not expecting it the first time around.
Yeah, it's very, very well done ending, and maybe the most satisfying ending of these 12 episodes.
Agreed. It's so wholesome, and you can't go wrong with adopting a cat.
Right? Adopt,
Yeah.
don't shop.
That's right.
Hashtag.
Yes, we're big advocates for that in TP for Your Earholes land. We have 2 adopted boys.
Yes.
So, as far as other memorable quotes, one of my favorites from an episode I've already mentioned, self-defense, is no one ever said scoring was supposed to feel good. Okay, guys.
That's such a good line.
But maybe what's even better is this one. It looks like no one has ever fallen asleep and peed on it, referring to the couch in the episode New Couch. Now, here's another weird thing I'm going to call myself out on. I don't really care about Van Driesen just constantly getting injured and beaten down, but the couch, as it continues to be battered up and down and all around through these apartments and what have you, that is funny shit.
Yeah.
Because it ends up looking so much worse off than the couch they had.
Right. All they had to do was try to move it upstairs, and it somehow got even worse than the one they have. Yeah.
That's what happens when Beavis and Butt-head touch anything. Am I right?
Yes. Well, at least no one has peed on this one yet.
Yet. Give it time. How about you? Have you got a couple?
Speaking of bodily functions.
Yeah.
Is this the first time, I think it is, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, that we actually hear people drop one of the 7 words you can't say on television?
Ooh. Are you talking about embraces?
I am talking about embraces because it's kind of an introduction to this idea where I think we hear Butthead with an apple in his mouth say no shit.
That definitely happened. That's what I heard too.
Mm-hmm. And then later in the season, we get Todd says shit pipe and AI says I didn't do shit and too big to fail. The landlord says cut the shit. So they were kind of off the leash a little bit as far as using that particular word. And I think that's the first time they've been able to do that. And credit to them and credit to the writers. They didn't hand it over to Beavis and Butt-head to run wild with.
No, it's used well.
Yeah, it's everyone else who's cursing, not them, except for maybe Butthead with an apple in his mouth when you can't fully understand it.
Which was hilarious, by the way.
And I also do like the fact that there's little switches of words, and this is one of the things I really love about dumb writing, right?
Yeah.
Dumb writing done well. To stupid people saying stupid things, it's where they can't find the word. And one of those examples is in Heart Attack, where Beavis runs over Butthead and then says, I had it in backwards. Instead of saying I had it in reverse, I had it in backwards. I love when they do that. I love when they can't find the word and they substitute another word that just isn't quite right. And this is a prime example of that. Loved it so much.
It's a great line and delivered so well. So much fun.
And I did have one other piece of dialogue that really stuck with me, and that is Beavis just saying the word metal over and over again in metal detectors.
Oh,
where it'll go beep and metal. I don't know. There's just something that's like a vocal stim in that. You know, you hear a beep and you just go metal. And I'm sorry to anyone out there listening who I just created a new stim for. My apologies, but that's what it's done for me. Hear a beep, metal.
Yeah, anytime I hear the word now, I'm probably going to just think immediate destruction of property.
Right.
Let's be honest. Well, before we move on to the next section, I do have a couple more, and I might as well just put them out there.
Please do, yes.
Okay. So this isn't so much a line, but more of a moment, a scene. And this is the entirety of Beavis discovering that you can do anything with certain plastic dolls. and then proceeding to construct his own out of plastic bottles he melted in the microwave in the episode Mike.
Oh my gosh. It hurts. My crotch hurts now just thinking about that scene. Oh my gosh.
You know how they talk about how microplastics are in all of us? Well, they're all over Beavis now.
Yes, Beavis will never be able to have little Beavis swim in the world without some microplastics after that.
I don't think it's going to happen now. One of my favorite words in the English language is butthole. It's a fun word to say, and it makes an appearance in the first half of season 3 where they're talking about trees, of all things. Butthead says trees all look the same, dumbass, and Beavis says, no, not this one, it's got a butthole. And that's in the episode Lifesavers, again, the Van Driesen thing.
Yeah, and they also do a callback to that later where Beavis says, there's the tree with the butthole again.
Yes, they did.
And I love Butthead's reaction to that, which is, we're back on track. Never mind the fact that that tree was the sign that they were lost in the first place.
Right. That's how goddamn dumb they are.
It's so well done.
That's fun. Okay, and I have 2 more. One is Beavis's commentary on drinking and alcoholism in Too Big to Fail, where he talks about, like, just the first few ones get me feeling all right, and the rest are... Okay, so he's describing alcoholism. It's kind of dark, and it's kind of funny at the same time.
You can laugh at it in part because they're animated characters.
Yes. They're talking about something real, but yeah.
And the thing is, you know that there are real people who have said those things who haven't realized that it's a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that might also apply to Beavis. But again, because he's animated, it's funny because he's saying it. It's funny when the cartoon is an alcoholic, not real people.
Yes.
And finally, maybe one of the most popular lines I've seen on fan interactions, discussions of the season so far, and that is, if the butt doesn't fit, you can evict in Too Big to Fail.
That is a very specific reference to something that us 90s kids will really appreciate.
We're never going to erase the OJ trial out of our heads. It's impossible.
Yeah, anytime anyone says anything doesn't fit,
You must acquit.
or you can't evict. That's awesome.
Until you tear down the other wall, and then you got her, man.
So speaking of words,
Yeah.
can I talk about the word that I think defines the first half of this season?
Tell us.
That word is sabmud.
Salmon. I want that to be the word of the year.
Yeah, Merriam-Webster's 2026 word of the year, sabmud.
Sabmud. And next to it is a picture of Beavis with his tattoo. And we're going to start talking about some of our favorite moments. I love the little detail the animators put in where when he's discovering his tattoo, he works his pecs a little bit, one at a time.
Oh,
That's
yes.
adorable and ridiculous.
Oh, it's so well done. And also what's really well done, and you don't see it on the screen long enough, I think, and that's probably intentional, is the back tattoo of Butt-head on Beavis at the end of the episode.
Yes.
That was beautiful. That was beautifully done. It really was.
I hope somebody actually gets that tattoo and posts it on Reddit or something so we can all see it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I remember in the immediate aftermath of that episode coming out, I saw someone did a screen cap of it, and it was before I had seen the episode. So it was a spoiler for me. It got spoiled for me. But at the same time, I saw it, and rather than having it spoil the episode for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this episode now.
Oh, hey.
It got me excited to want to watch it. Like, how did we get to this point? And
So it needed to be a teaser if it wasn't. Because I don't know about you, I ignored any teasers for episodes. I wanted to not be spoiled as much as possible.
well, and I tried to, but did it always work? No.
No. If you're on the internet,
Yeah, if you're following Beavis and Butt-head anything, you're going to see some stuff. And I don't think that was them, but I think it was another community. But still, I saw it, and it was really weird because normally you don't want to give away the climax. This person did, and it actually encouraged me to want to watch the episode, and the payoff was just as good or maybe even slightly better because I saw it and I was like, okay, how are they going to use this? And then that was so satisfying to see how they did that. That was really cool.
Sometimes it's not about what happens in the ending itself. It's how you get there.
Exactly. Yeah, the journey, not the destination. That's definitely the case with this one. But the destination's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Now Beavis has 2 really big tattoos on his body, which we'll probably never see again.
So any other moments that you just fell in love with?
I did. When Beavis and Butt-head reunite with Todd in Plumber's Helper, the fact that the hearts emanate from them again, like they always did, warmed my black little heart, that's for sure.
That was great. And let's take a moment here to acknowledge we get to see a middle-aged Todd, and that was a nice little Easter egg in this. I don't even know if you want to call it an Easter egg. It wasn't an Easter egg.
It's really not. It's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature. And that was cool to see regardless.
It was really cool to see subtle things, like the ways that he has changed and the ways that he hasn't.
Yes.
He's still gonna beat them up and treat them like the dumbasses they are, but he's gonna own a business and drink a latte in the morning.
True.
So he's the guy he's probably got a wife, maybe an ex-wife, we don't know, but a couple of kids, is doing his life. He's getting by. He's doing fine. He's kind of where he needs to be in life. He's doing fine.
Okay, so speaking of French words, latte, I know there was another French word that we both loved in this particular set of episodes, and that was the French word masse.
Masse, yes. Fancy French cologne, allegedly.
Oh, the kind of cologne that turns your eyes red. Oh, gosh.
Great marketing pitch right there.
Yeah, but that was such a great series of animations to see their faces change. And yeah, it was definitely a highlight of the season.
For sure. Maybe one of my favorite moments of the first half is the way Beavis prepares to be sprayed by the perfume in the eye. And then when it doesn't hurt, his reaction, if you haven't taken note of that, clock that. It's hilarious.
Yes. And speaking of Beavis reactions, him getting squished in the new couch episode, as the couch falls down the stairs onto him several different times.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. I haven't done it yet. I need to, but I need to go back and freeze frame every single one of those because they were all slightly different and they got progressively funnier.
I agree. It's an excellent sequence. And how are these two alive? Honestly, from Butthead falling down the steps in heart attack to Beavis getting crushed by the couch in New Couch. It's a good thing they're cartoons, man. Okay, I've got another Beavis look.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the really dejected look he's got when he comes out of the ER in the episode Nuts.
Oh, yes.
The sadness on his face. I mean, of all the things in that episode, that probably made me laugh the most, just as a reaction.
And one of the things that I think this season did, and we'll talk more about this in the second half, I'm sure, but this show is getting a lot better about the funny cut.
The time, oh yeah, big time.
Something will happen and then they cut ahead in time to something else. There were several of those moments in this first half that were just really well done, and that was one of them. But they're getting a lot better about the cut being the funny thing, as opposed to the cut just being a way to get from place to place.
For sure. It is definitely a feature, and that's a part of my overall impressions of the first half of the season. But let's definitely put a pin in that, say yes for sure, and then come back to it.
And I do have one more moment from this season. I feel like we can't talk about this part of season 3 without talking about Beavis and the way he beatboxes, and he beatboxes twice.
Yeah, he does.
But particularly in Plumber's Helpers, where he's watching the video and he's like, drop the bass, and then does the beatboxing. I do not imagine Beavis as a raver, but you know what? The way he goes about it, maybe there's something there.
Maybe he lost interest in rap in the 2000s and started going to raves. Maybe.
Yeah.
But beatboxing, never would have thought Beavis to do that necessarily, and yet once he did, It made perfect sense, and it was awesome.
And let's be clear here, Beavis does strike me as the type who appreciates a good beat drop.
Definitely.
So kudos to Beavis's musical growth.
These characters do evolve.
So I think it's been pretty clear that we really, really liked these 12 episodes. Anything, Shar, that you didn't like? Anything that you didn't care for? Any downers?
I had to really dig to try and find things that I just really did not understand or disliked or stuff like that. There was one thing that is personal, and this is a me thing, not a show thing, and that is the sound of Butthead licking his braces-less teeth in the episode Braces. I have something called misophonia, where mouth sounds really annoy the living shit out of me. So when he would do that sound over and over throughout the episode, I had to really grit my teeth. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and that was the first episode. That set the stage for everything that was to come. Yeah.
But here is the thing, is I thought the episode, and the premise especially, was hilarious.
Sure.
So it was just that one thing that was a massive disadvantage for me, but everything else, story-wise, animation-wise, seeing Butthead with way too much gums, it was just, it was a good time. That was fun. But sound-wise, yeah, I could have done without that sound effect. That is just me, though. And then the only other thing I could really think of is how in Too Big to Fail, all that food they bought for Butthead to eat probably could have paid the rent for a month. I'm just saying.
True.
I couldn't escape the logic on that. I understand that destroys the episode, but yeah, here we are. How about you? Do you have anything?
One of the things I clocked was in this set of episodes, we got to see several different kinds of pizza boxes.
Yes, we did.
And we got to see a Papa Jim's, and we got to see, what was it?
Was it Nino's?
Yeah, Nino's. And obviously we know what those are ripoffs of, but I'm really hoping eventually we can see a Little Nero's pizza box. But that's it. And again, overwhelmingly very positive. And I don't think we're alone in that sentiment. I think fans really, really have enjoyed this season.
Right. Those who have watched it, I've seen a whole lot of positive feedback. It's just, unfortunately, for every comment of, oh my gosh, that was so much fun, let's talk about what happened, there's another post of, where do I watch this show?
Yeah.
But we've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, overall impressions of this first half of the season. Anything else you've got?
Yeah, I think I want to go on record saying this. I want to make sure that this is out there in the world, that I think this may be the best season quality-wise of this entire show. As far as quality of the writing, quality of the animation, quality of the storytelling, nothing feels wasted. Everything has purpose, and if you look back at some of those original run episodes, they didn't always stand up to that. So I think this is, I'm not going to say the funniest, but definitely the best constructed and the highest quality that we've seen from this series ever. And it's super impressive. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought Beavis and Butt-head are impressive?
Well, who would have thought, that we'd go from peace, love, and understanding, where the crowd is literally circles, to something this high quality? That's, it really does speak to the evolution of this show, the evolution of the characters, the evolution of everything involved with it. And I think it's, like I say, it's the highest quality stuff that we've seen, and that's a compliment. That's not a criticism.
Yeah. I think I'll boil all of that down to one word: consistency.
Yeah.
This first half of this season is super consistent. I agree that maybe the peak isn't as high of a peak as maybe in other seasons of the show, but we also don't have absolute downers either. You can play any one of these episodes and have a good time. You're going to laugh your ass off. What more do you want? That's what this show is for. That is what it is supposed to do. So I would not disagree with your assessment and say that Season 3, Part 1 is really freaking solid. Going into the latter half of the season, there's still plenty of things that we have not seen, one of which is smart Beavis and Butt-head. That was not present here.
No. I do think we get it in the second half, but we're going to have to save that conversation for next week.
That's right. So thanks to all you dillweeds out there for joining us for this episode. We hope you'll join us for part 2. If you want to follow us and share your thoughts on the first half of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head's Season 3, you can do that on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, on our website, tpforyourearholes.com, all the things. We'd love to hear from you. And until next week, y'all, watch some Beavis and Butt-head.